Why Not? A queer podcast.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Todd.
And I'm Jeremy Williams, and you're listening to Wine,
Why Not? A queer podcast.
episode 74.
It only took 2 takes.
Excellent.
That's good. I can't wait for this next step to see how many takes this will take.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's say thank you to our sponsor,
Yes.
Pineapple Healthcare. See, already the first time. Let's take 2. Pineapple Healthcare, an award-winning primary care clinic right here in Orlando.
Pineapple Healthcare offers mental health counseling, HIV, STI testing and treatment, and specializes in care for the LGBTQ plus community.
Open Monday through Saturday. Call today, 407-553-6336, and schedule your appointment.
Pineapple Healthcare. Better together. All right. That
We
was
should
bad.
come up with
We
like a
got
little
the-
jingle at the end, like, you know,
What is-
everything.
What does chopped pineapple sloshing around sound like? That's what it should be.
I don't know. Let me do a couple of jumping jacks, and you just record it.
All right. So here we are,
So-
74. I don't really have any little tidbits for 74.
I don't either.
Um,
It's the year my brother was born,
oh, nice, nice.
I think. No, he was born in 73. See, I got nothing.
Watergate. When did Nixon resign? Wasn't that around 74?
I don't know.
Let's count backwards.
I swear I thought you were going to say, let's Caitlin it.
Let's
And then look at Caitlin like, get off your phone, Caitlin.
let's see.
And she wanted a microphone for this podcast.
Carter was nominated in 76. Ford was president for how long? 2 years, right? 74. I'm going to go on record and say 74. When did Nixon resign? Caitlin. Caitlin's looking it up right now.
Yes, the question every LGBTQ plus person that listens to this podcast is wondering.
I just want to know if I'm right.
Resigned from office on August 9th.
August 9th. 19. Bing, bang, boom.
Oh, wow. That was so exciting. You started shooting Trump guns.
I did.
Bing, bang, bang, bing, bang.
Join
Come
me
on.
next week on Jeopardy.
Come on now. Did you hear the dishwasher rant?
Oh, Trump's dishwasher.
Yes.
Was it the dishwasher? Yes, with the water.
Yeah.
and the
Drip, drip, drip.
yeah.
Bloop, blop, bloop. Oh, my. You know, I got to say, I'm not really a fan of whataboutisms and all that kind of stuff. But what about now? If Joe Biden said anything remotely close to that, like his numbers would tank. There would be this uproar. There would be this craziness. Like, but it's just like, oh no, like he meant something else. I don't. Like,
Yeah.
It's just so weird to me. It's weird. Explain it to me, cult people. Why? Why do we care? I know we don't usually get into that kind of stuff on this show. Like we'll just make an orange joke. But seriously, I mean, it was so bad. Fox cut the feed.
Yeah.
God, I hope he does that. I hope that Joe Biden during the debate says
Mm-hmm.
something like, you know, I'm not afraid of dishwashers or something.
Yeah. Are you gonna watch it?
Absolutely not.
No. Why?
You know, here's why. I already know who I'm going to vote for.
Yeah.
I don't need this to tell me who I'm going to vote for.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not
gonna
watching because
vote
I want someone to
for
tell
a
me who to vote for.
decent human being. And so I want that to be the truth. So what I don't want, like I will be a nervous wreck. Do you remember what it felt like in 2016
Mm-hmm.
when Donald Trump won? Do you remember
Yeah.
that feeling? And like you're on their house and you're watching TV and you're like, she's not going to win. And that feeling you get, I will have that feeling the entire time if I watch that debate. And I have enough stress in my life.
Oh,
Maybe I'll,
interesting.
I'll schedule a massage before and after the debate just to relax.
During. Get a
Because
massage during.
it'll just, because I'll be paranoid, right? Because Joe Biden, like the expectations for him or the bar for him is so much higher than it is for Donald Trump. So all that Donald Trump has to do is stand the whole time or even not. He could sit down. He could lay down and take a nap. Nobody's going to care. He can do whatever he wants. But Joe Biden has to be perfect, you know? And so with them cutting microphones off, there are going to be times where Donald Trump screams at Joe Biden and we don't hear what Donald Trump says. We'll just see that it might throw Joe Biden off. And then all of a sudden, he's having a senior moment. And all of a sudden, he's not fit to be president. And I don't want to see that. I would just rather hear the substance of what they had to say later on. Plus, Donald Trump's just going to lie and scream the whole time. I can't even, There's no reason to listen to that man unless he's going to go on a rant about dishwashers.
Yeah, everybody already knows who they're voting for. I don't believe anybody who says that they are torn about who they're voting for. Everybody knows who they're going to vote for.
If you say you're undecided, I think you're lying to get on TV.
I am watching.
Right?
I'm sorry. I like a nice burning down of a society, and I am watching for the pure entertainment aspect of it, of these two who are going to come out and who are going to probably say some stupid shit and do some stupid shit and entertain the fuck out of me.
I like watching the burning down of fake societies. I like to watch TV shows like, The House of Dragons, where like an entire civilization of people who apparently like to kill people with crabs, not the sexual kind, get destroyed and burned alive. Like, that's great. But I don't, like, if I like lived in that town, I probably wouldn't want to look out my window and see it. You know what I mean? I don't want to see the reality of it.
I like
I don't know if that...
I love chaos.
Not when it's real.
Yeah. Real chaos is the best. Those, there's like...
You ever see Bent?
Bent.
Yeah, it was a play, and then they made a movie out of it, and it's about gay people. Like, it's about the thing right behind you, about gay people in the Holocaust. And they're sitting there, and like things that they made them do was like move like a pile of bricks to another area, and that's just what they had them do, just to keep them to do stuff.
I wrote that story, so I know. I just never seen the movie.
I just picture you in like 6 years moving your bricks with your partner, your brick moving partner, going, you know what? Maybe I don't like chaos so much.
Bless you to think that I'd make it to that point.
Oh yeah. You're like, I'd sell you all out, so I had a place to live and a gun. It's just like, I don't know. I just like I listen. I think I listened to too much of it. So in 2016 and in 2020, what I had to do was like I used to do this with drinking. I would be like, oh, I'm drinking too much. I'm going to take a week off. So I would stop listening to anything political for like a week or two, and then I go back to it. And, they're talking about the exact same things. So that's just how I feel about I'll get the glimpse. Some people go to church and listen to what their pastor has to tell them about what Jesus said. And I will go to Rachel Maddow and have her teach me what Orange Man said.
Yeah. If you want a liberal curve to it.
100%. I'm going to ride that liberal curve as long as I can.
Part of the journalist in me can't not watch it.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
So
go ahead.
I
already know what I'm going to write my next article about, and it's not this, so I'm good.
I'll fill you in at the next
That's on Thursday?
Yeah.
I was hoping it was on Wednesday, because I was like, oh, I have plans Wednesday, and then I can just say, no, I'm not going to watch it because I have plans. Everything all right over there?
Yeah, I was.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I had some gas.
It's okay. We don't mind it when it comes out that way. We're just in a very small room that's kind of warm.
That it is. Oh, it is.
It is warm. It's always warm in here. It
the
can't be
whole
the
world
lights.
is,
They're LEDs.
The whole world is unusually hot these days.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine if you lived in Maine and it's hotter in Maine than it is in Orlando, Florida?
Yeah. And we'll get to our weekends, but we were setting up the booth at St. Pete Pride, but
eventually we'll get to our weekends. For those who are listening, who told us over the weekend that we talked too long about our weeks, well, for you, it's going to be a 5-hour podcast.
No, I was setting up the St. Pete Pride booth, and 20 minutes into it, I already looked like I was came out of a swimming pool.
Yeah, it was a sauna for sure. Yeah, that's like what if people who don't. Do you ever see that meme? It's like if you want to know what the weather in Florida is like, it said go run a mile, come home, take a hot shower, and then put your clothes on while you're still wet. And that's what it feels like. I can tell by your face.
Yeah.
You agree.
It's gross.
Caitlin certified. Caitlin approved.
I mean, I appreciate the events that happened at Stonewall, but you couldn't have waited 5 months.
Or why did you have to wait a year?
Yeah, couldn't you have done it 6 months earlier?
Right, like
nothing like a good Christmas riot. I'm just saying.
Santa's bringing you your rights. See, it's got a whole marketing thing.
Anyway, we really could have actually taken Christmas away from them. But no, June's fine. It's all right. I can stand the heat.
Good times. You want to talk about your week?
As the churches say, I need to get used to it anyway.
You know what I do? So, So we're at St. Pete Pride this week, and
We sure were.
we walk by those things, and like there's people holding signs that's like repent or you're going to hell, or then there's the people in the megaphones that just say you're going to hell, and I'm like, you read my diary?
Yeah.
Because I just want to tell everybody I'm pretty sure that might be accurate, but it has nothing to do with me being gay. There are so many other reasons.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
my
there's a
poly cotton blend shirt I'm wearing.
9
I
things
eat
probably
shrimp.
happened today that'll send you to hell.
Ooh.
It's just
I am trying.
it was
To
fine.
be funny into a podcast. You leave me alone.
I got back from St. Pete Pride, and my brother was like, "How did things go?" And I was like, "Oh, it was good. It was a lot of fun." And he goes, "Were there any protesters?" Like, "Oh yeah, we got told to go to hell. We were told." Yeah, I mean,
there were a lot this
there
time.
was a lot.
Way more than I ever. Usually
And
it's
no,
Polk Pride that
St.
has
Pete-
all the protesters.
St. Pete Pride is a lot of fun, but my experience is I see more Christian hate telling me I'm going to hell at St. Pete Pride more than any other Pride event I go to.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because like it's huge.
Yeah. Also, I mean, there's a lot of older people who live in that area, and older people.
I
hate
gotta
us
tell you, I
gays.
don't know how true that is anymore. This is not your grandfather's Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
Anybody know those commercials? This is
No.
not your dad's Oldsmobile. This is not your dad's St. Pete. It's
No.
changed.
I mean, I agree. I'm sure there are less old people, but I did see a lot of old people.
Every year.
Every year they get older.
every year. A
A
few,
new
a
crop
few
of
less,
old people.
A few less.
But
So that's so dark and mean and ugh.
but yeah. So you want to talk about St. Pete Pride first?
Yeah, well, yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's get. We're already talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, went over there on Saturday. Traffic on I-4.
You didn't go to the concert on Friday, right?
No. I drove over Friday night.
Yeah,
That's right.
and I wish
drove over
I
Friday
wish
night.
one of us did talk about it. I mean, I'm sure it was incredible. Do you know who it was?
Sasha Colby.
Sasha Colby
From Drag Race,
From
yeah.
Drag Race, huge fan base. Does amazing work. I just I think everybody knows this about me when it comes to drag. Like, I like I love drag that's like comedy, like crazy campy comedy drag, and when people are singing live, kind of a thing.
We've talked about this. I like celebrity impersonating drag.
Right. So that like Lee Shannon.
Yeah.
Right up there with you.
Favorite Bette Midler.
But like sometimes when Gidget does like did Mary Poppins, that's what I like. Cause see, that's like impersonating a person,
Yeah, and like
but
they
it's
do
like campy
the
and
Golden
crazy.
Gals when they.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
But
I
like-
love drag queens who dress as other celebrities.
But even like if there's a drag queen that just does that, I apologize for the way I just worded that. Let me say this again. Drag queens that are amazing that do Cher impersonations, like that's not for me. I just had to just do a Cher impersonation like a douchebag.
I bet,
that's not what I
know,
meant.
I bet right now you wish you could turn back down. Yeah. There's your Cher impersonation.
That was delightful. And see, you sang it live,
I did.
and it was
my God.
funny and campy. See?
Coming to St. Pete Pride 2025, Jeremy as Cher.
Oh, God, I just entered the Fringe lottery and I'm producing that show. No, so I don't want to take away from like obviously Sasha Colby's a megastar and incredibly good. It's just not the style of entertainment that I gravitate towards.
Yeah.
So I
No, I
didn't go
getcha.
to that show, but everybody who went had a great time. And I know that the executive director of St. Pete Pride, she shares an office space next to us in St. Pete, and she's obsessed with her and loves her, and I think it's great. So it's all
Nice.
good. We just didn't happen to go to that.
Yeah.
But we did go the next day because, everybody goes, the whole staff goes. It's kind of like work, but it's like a little mini vacay / work session for the first half of the weekend. The second half of the weekend is nothing but crazy melting work. But so we all went to lunch. Bella Brava, who's incredible out there. Their food is amazing. But they always host us, and it's super nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to go when you've got a big staff and you have a niche market newspaper where you're not flooding in profit. It's hard to get the whole staff together and take them out for a nice lunch without it breaking the bank. And so they work it out with us. They get advertising, we get food, and they're so nice and cool, and the food's amazing.
Absolutely.
So that was a lot of fun.
And they also, I believe, this is how it was a few years ago. I don't know if it's changed, but same restaurant or the same people who own Bella Brava own Stillwater.
You know, it was they had a head chef at Bella Brava, which was Jeffrey Jew, who was on Chopped, I think, wasn't he? We've written about him.
One of those food shows.
Yeah, it's a very handsome man, and he was
not bad to look at. Good with his hands.
He was also.
He cooks.
Well,
yeah. I meant he can cut.
He can chop.
He can chop.
Yeah, this is why the show he was on, and then he also was the like the head chef at Stillwater Tavern.
Oh, it's just it's not owned.
No,
by
I think they might be. I don't know,
okay.
but he's not with them anymore. I think I think. I don't know. I know nothing. This
you
is
know
a
what?
podcast about entertainment, not restaurants.
I got rid of cable, so I haven't watched the Food Channel in years. He might be on the Food Channel.
He might own it.
He might.
He might own this podcast. We don't know anything.
I don't know anything. He may be you. I don't know.
Are you Jeffrey Jew? So after that, it was when work started. We had lunch, it was great, and then work started. So we all paired up and did our different things because they do and I really like this. I really like this. I mean, it doesn't affect us so much now because we don't do the parades anymore. But I love it that it's split.
We cover them. We're just not in them.
I love that it's split up. You know, they do the parade on Saturday night, and then the next day they do the marketplace thing. Now they've managed to make the parade into a parade and marketplace area, and then the next day they do a bigger marketplace thing. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Yeah, it was a really good time. And I just want to give them a shout out because I'm the editor in chief, but I kind of focus on the Central Florida area. Ryan handles, our managing editor handles the Tampa Bay area. So I don't get out there as often and see how much everybody loves Watermark. But I was covering the parade, and I went. They have do they call them the glam stands, or does that come out with Pride? One of them called like those bleacher areas, like the VIP.
They all should.
Yeah, but they have the VIP area, and they had given us media passes that they had passed out to us so that we could cover the event. And I wanted to get photos from that area because they had free water and it was not as crowded. So I went there and I showed them the media pass that they had given me, and they were like, "Oh, I'm not sure." And they saw my Watermark badge press pass behind it, and they're like, "Oh, your Watermark? Yeah, go on in, right in."
Oh, nice.
And I was like, "Oh, so we have special privileges more so than the other media." Which doesn't always happen, so that was nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. We did their official St. Pete Pride Guide this year, which we did the first, I think, 5 that they did, and then there was a leadership change and things changed, and we just weren't doing it anymore. But we got it back this year. This is the first time we did it, and I know that they loved it, and we love them, and we have this great relationship with them, and I hope that never changes. It's just really nice when you got an organization that is as big as they are that maintains their love with you as they did when they first started.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, when you got events that are just starting out, you get everybody loves you because any attention is good attention and they just love it. And you're giving them ads and they're like, "Oh, this is great." And then they get so big that sometimes it becomes a favor to us for them to give us all that love. And sometimes with some organizations that tapers off. And then, but for them, it's it's just wonderful. They're great. And I had a really good time.
Yeah, it was a really good event.
I mean, if there is anything, though, that I might give a little advice.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe
constructive criticism is always warmly accepted.
But it's probably because it's so expensive. It's hella expensive to throw these things, and because you've got to get all this security, you got to get all this police, and then you got to fence this area in, and blah blah blah. I just think maybe the marketplaces for the parade maybe have 2 or 3 entrances. That's all.
Yeah,
because we were in line for 45 minutes to get into the marketplace, which is just a long time. But we had bags. It was our fault.
Yeah,
we had bags.
People who didn't have bags with them
bag.
were walking right in rather quickly. But yeah, if you brought bags or anything like that, you were getting checked.
But we're there to take pictures and videos. So we've got gimbals and equipment and stuff, and you need a bag for that. So it's no big deal. It's just I think it would flow real nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was really cool. I mean, the entertainment was great. That was there at the marketplace. My job was to cover the marketplace, so it was just really cool. And we got great videos of people just we went to the free mom hugs table, and there were a lot of free hugs. They were all over that place. I think there were 15 people, and we did a video of them all screaming "Happy Pride" or "Free Mom Hugs" or something really cool. And it's just really fun, when you get there and everybody's so excited about Pride and about just having a place to go to be in a group like that. It's awesome. Very successful. Wonderful.
Yeah, it was a really good time.
Hottest day of life. Oh, it's like working on the sun.
Yeah.
And then when it rains, all it does is turn into steam. And like it reminded me of any days when I worked at SeaWorld and they have that black asphalt and you're out there and you're sweeping up things and then the rain comes and like 3:00 in the afternoon or 5 in the afternoon and you have to, go get into shelter. But as soon as the rain stops, you got to go out and sweep up all the leaves that fell and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, you can see the steam rising from the streets.
Yeah.
It's so hot.
It's disgusting.
But it's worth it.
I hate it.
It rained. All that happened. And it was packed. I didn't even have a booth shift scheduled. I showed up at 1 to walk around. And I was like, oh, my God, these people are slammed. So I ended up just stuffing newspapers into bags until 5:00. It's crazy.
Yeah. Fix global warming. That's all I'm saying. Fix it.
Can it be fixed at this point? Or we're just screwed?
There's a timer in New York.
Oh, really?
I guess there's a timer in New York.
Oh, there's a timer in New York.
Yeah.
I hear.
That's the
countdown.
It's the final countdown.
We're so musical today.
I know. Right?
I want to say this though, in case this one was like, of course she's listening. Of course she's listening to this podcast. This woman came up to me while I was stuffing bags, and I'd been there for hours doing it, and it was this generic at first. It was just this generic like, thank you for doing what you do. And I was like, well, thank you. It's so nice of you to stop and say. It's really nice. Like you said, it's just nice to feel that love because we're in this building. We work in 2-week cycles, and we do a paper. We get it out there, and we don't, get to see all the time the effect that it has on people. So she was just very like, I really love it. I love to read it. She's like, I'm not LGBT, but I keep up with it. And I love that it covers Orlando and Tampa Bay because I can see what's up with my friends over there and sometimes Sarasota. And I just love it. And it's great. And I really appreciate everything that you do. And I was like, well, thank you for that. I was like, I'm the owner, publisher, and it's really great to hear that. And then she's like, you write an article. And I was like, yeah. And so then it turns into this like thing. I almost started crying because she said that she was so appreciative of the fact that I was so open about my life in general. And talked to her for a few minutes about that. Come to find out that she had a daughter who was an alcoholic and a drug addict who didn't make it. And so she said she loves to read about success stories. And I was like, well, ongoing success, right? I'm trying. We're getting there. And so, but it was just this wonderful moment. And she just kept saying like how important the work that we do is. And I loved it. So anyway, it was great. It made Pride for me. It was like the last interaction I had at Pride, and it was amazing.
Nice.
Is that all I got?
Oh my God, that's amazing. I don't know what you want. Yeah, one of the reasons that I didn't go up on Friday for the concert, because on Friday, I went to the Orlando VA for their 14th annual Pride Month celebration, which is always a blast. So I just want to give a shout out to them. Carrie Griffin over there is absolutely amazing.
It's amazing that they do that.
Yeah. But it was the largest one they've had so far. The CEO of the Orlando VA Medical Center came in there and was just praising the queer veterans and praising everybody in the community for what they do. Come Out with Pride was there. Our sponsor, Pineapple Healthcare, was there. A bunch of people from the community. Also, people from the VA. Each one of the departments sets up a table. I was sat up right across from infectious disease. So shout out to my HIV doctor, Dr. Ho, who came over and was like, Jeremy, how's it going? I don't know if he listens to this, but he gives me that comedian, Aziz Ansari. Am I saying that right? Aziz Ansari?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, he gives me that
Aziz
vibe.
Ansari.
Like a very kind of young, he's trying to like identify with the kid. He's like, hey, Jeremy, what's up? And I am aware that I'm a 45-year-old man, but I still felt like he was trying to rap with the teens with me, which I love every time I see him.
That's, for whatever reason, it makes me think of Ross Geller still going to his pediatrician.
Oh, well.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I love that. But it was so much fun. He came over. He said, have you lost some weight? And I said, oh my God, it's nice of you to mention that. I have started Ozempic. And he goes, the VA gave you Ozempic? And I said, no. And he goes, how did you get get it. And I told him our friends at Pineapple Healthcare are setting me up. And he got so excited and went over and talked to them because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but as somebody who is HIV positive, I am grateful that there are medications to keep me alive. But a lot of these medications cause you to put on a lot of weight. Yeah. So that's kind of the issue that they're dealing with right now is people who are HIV positive on these meds, they're getting undetectable, but they're developing other health problems because of their weight. So when I told him that Pineapple helped me, he went over and then talked to them and wanted to know if he could refer his patients to them.
Oh, wow.
They gave him a stack of flyers and they said, yeah, give this to your patients. And if they have issues, have them reach out to us and see how we can help them. So
that's awesome.
That was a great connection that I was able to make there. The head of the VA's PR department came over and thanked me and thanked Watermark for all of the coverage we do for the Orlando VA. They said no other publication that they deal with shouts them out as much as we do. So they thanked us for our coverage. And I was like, you know what?
Well, it helps.
It helps that you reach out to us and tell us, hey,
it
this
helps
is going on.
that they reach out, but it also helps that, we're a gay paper and we have a gay veteran
yeah.
as the editor-in-chief.
I ain't gonna lie.
So
yeah, that helps a lot because I know what's going on there. But Carrie does a great job of reaching out every time there's something going on. And I love her. And I know she's going through a lot of stuff personally right now, so I just want to give her a shout out and say I'm thinking about her. So, yeah. So
You're
that's what
great,
I did on
Carrie.
Friday.
Thank you for all that you do.
Love her. So that was my Friday, and then I finished that up, got my bags packed, and headed over to St. Pete. I saw a recent article, a listicle, if you will, that named the most dangerous interstates in the United States.
Oh, I-4.
And I don't think up there, I-4 was listed as number one.
I was gonna say it's definitely.
I was not surprised driving on that this was named the most dangerous interstate in America.
There's a lot of reasons for that. Mainly asshole drivers.
Yeah. Well, they listed off. It's a huge tourist interstate, so it's like people who aren't familiar with the area.
They know where they're going.
And they said that there has been no time in the history of interstate. And I don't know if this is fact, but this is what the article said. There is no time in the history that the I-4 has existed that giant swaths of it have not been under construction.
I don't disagree with that. In fact, I can tell as soon as like a road is done, I can tell where the next.
Yeah.
I'll hit a bump. I'll be like, oh, this is next. It's always under construction, and people use it to drag race. Like they'll drag race like crazy fast, and so that's obnoxious. But also, and this happened a few years back. I don't know if you were working here at the time, but in like Polk County, it'll get really foggy. And there was like something like a 53 car pileup where people, a lot of people like burned alive in their cars, and it was horrible. And so I mean that accident is number one reason why I don't leave at like 4 a.m. to drive back and forth to St. Pete. I leave at night. I won't drive, and if there's gonna be fog, I'm not gonna drive. Yeah, not on that road.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know there's a giant section of I-4 right before Disney and right where the expressway ends that I see a lot of construction, and I'm just hoping that is an extension of the expressway because me and Carrie were actually talking about this on Friday. I am okay with paying a little more in taxes if you can take that expressway and extend it from Daytona to Tampa. Straight expressway the whole way.
Keep saying it out loud. Yeah. Manifest this because it will change my life.
Also, you live in St. Pete. Yes. I do want to say this. As I was heading into town, speaking of expressways, there is a little stretch of expressway on the 295 that goes nowhere. What is that?
You know what? I always complain. I laugh about it because I'm like, this is like a stretch of highway that does not need an express lane.
No.
Until... you get to the end of it, and like at rush hour times, it is.
Is it bad?
Yes,
okay.
It gets real bad. So like you get over the bridge, and then you have that like first exit, but between that first exit and the next one, which is like where there's a Publix billboard, it can get really bad. In fact, even in the express lane, you're gonna get into like towards the end of the express lane, it's gonna be slow moving traffic to merge in. So yeah,
Yeah.
for that weird stretch of highway, yeah, it makes sense. But I have a feeling that there's going to be more to it than that
That's
because
just the start of it.
they're building like that. Yeah, they're building that new bridge. So the bridge that you drive into St. Pete right now, that whole thing is becoming express.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think they might be considering like in the middle of it being like a speed rail. And then express lanes on the other sides of it. And so then the one that's being built now, that's going to be the driving lane that goes in, like the normal lane that goes into it. But it's also going to have a bike path and a walk path. And in the middle of it, it's going to have a little bloop that you can stand on and get pictures and the ocean and all that.
Isn't that bridge like 7 miles long or some shit?
People say that.
Who's going to walk that?
But it is not 7 miles. The 7 mile bridge is to go to Key West. It's like 3 miles.
Still, I ain't walking a 3 mile bridge. I mean, it's nice they're putting a walk path on it if somebody else is gonna, but
I don't think there's anybody in this room that's walking.
no.
Ain't nobody in this room gonna walk nowhere. I will drive my car to the bridge, park in a parking lot, and get my electric scooter out and electric scooter across. Yes, that I'll do.
But yeah, I mean, that's all sounds
Should
exciting.
get a photo for Watermark. You know,
As soon as it's
I'm a company man. I'm a company man.
Can't wait to see it.
Do you know what I did this weekend? I did the most adulty thing.
You went to St. Pete Pride.
I did, but I also did the most adulty thing that I think that I've ever done.
What's that?
And I don't think many people can say that they've done this as an adult. Not a lot of people. Maybe. I don't know. I bought a tree. Like, who buys a tree? You just move into a house and you got trees, or you don't, and that's what it is. No, we bought one.
All right. What kind of tree did you buy?
I call it a purple trumpet tree, but this is what it's called. I'm not going to get this right. A purple tababwa.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful tree. I'll never see it this beautiful because it's a little twig right now, and it's probably going to take it 100 years to become this huge thing. But you know what? It's fine. I wanted it. We wanted it. So there we go. We did that. But, you know, the funny thing is like we went. So my shift, you know, like I said, I didn't get there until 1, and we went in the morning of Sunday morning when the Pride Expo was going on. Place was dead. And I was like, I was laughing because I'm like, oh, yeah, all the gays are at Pride. They're not at the nursery buying their plants. So that was fun.
Yeah. Pride events are the best time in a city to go to other popular gay spots that you want to go shopping because they're not going to be there that day. They're all at a Pride.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I hit up the bathhouse. No, I'm just kidding. I'm like, I just want to use the
To
pool.
be the
I don't want to be harassed.
Yeah, right. And you get porn magazines to read the articles, right?
Hey, some of those are fascinating stories.
Yeah, and then I started watching House of Dragons because eventually we're gonna talk about this, right?
Yes.
And I said that I kept watching and I kept watching. So I watched it. I watched the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dylan had a thing to go to. I think he had a wedding that he had a photo shoot. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it. And I think that I paid attention to the first 15 minutes. If you don't pay attention to the first 15 minutes, the rest of the episode doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right? So, but it's like that exposition, like somebody's storytelling.
It's like the beginning of Lord of the Rings.
So it's very,
it's like in the dawn of man, and it's like, oh, God, I better focus.
It's like watching Star Wars, the beginning of Star Wars. If you don't read that thing,
the scroll,
it's going to make no sense. So once I discovered that this guy became king because a council had to decide between this man and this woman and who was going to run the kingdom, then I understood everything else that was happening after it. So, and then I got hooked. And I got hooked because I love it is the current king. If you are caught up on this, you're going to be like, you don't know what's going on. But yeah, it's the current king, the first one. Well, the second one, right? The guy
King
who was
Viserys, I believe is his name.
Yes, King Vasectomy. And so he...
Do not speak ill of the dead. No, I'm just kidding.
See, now I know he's going to die.
No, I was kidding. No, I was kidding.
No, I already know he's going to die because I saw a preview for an episode coming up, and the daughter's like, you took this from me. And I'm like, okay, well, that guy's going to die, and this kid's going to take over, and it's probably going to be her brother that's going to happen. So anyway, I
will just say the whole first season is all exposition for the actual Civil War.
So it's really difficult to watch a show like that, but I'm intrigued. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I can't tell like why everybody looks weird in it. but that's okay. You know what? You know what my least favorite part of Lord of the Rings was? Surprisingly,
The
is
Hobbits?
the elves.
Oh, really?
Even though, what's his name?
I thought you had a thing for Legolas.
Legolas is heavenly. Like there is not a more.
The Targaryens have a very Legolas look to them.
Yes, they have a very.
They're very elf looking.
But they look like Cro-Magnon Legolas.
I don't think this
Especially
is a
like
spoiler alert for any of it, but I think that's all of the inbreeding. The entire family is inbred.
Fair enough. But I'm interested. My whole point is I'm interested. So here's the deal. Like, nobody wants to watch House of Dragons with me. So I watch House of Dragons when I get off of work, before Jen gets home.
Now, the people who don't want to watch it with you, did they watch Game of Thrones with you?
Jen did.
Did she feel burned and that's why or was she like, that's just too much to invest in?
Jen and I are very fine with the way Game of Thrones went. We are not upset about the ending whatsoever. And I would argue that the very first episode told you how the very last episode was going to go. But anyway, so we're fine with all of that. She just doesn't want to get invested into this thing. And so she won't watch it because we're watching Succession. And so she's like, I'd rather watch Succession. So I'll get an episode or two of House of Dragons in, and then Jen will come home from work, and then we'll watch Succession until midnight. And then I'll get no sleep, and I'll come into work and be groggy until I get home and watch another couple episodes of House of Dragons.
So where are you at House of Dragons right now?
2 episodes in.
Okay.
I started the 3rd one when they starts burning the crab people.
Oh, yeah. Good episode. Episode. Now, I will say the first season, there's a lot of time jumps.
Because it looks like he gets killed. Yeah, I mean, I haven't hit a time jump. Well, no, I hit one, a 3-year time jump because, like the king remarried and the girl's pregnant.
Yeah. So the entire first season is time jumps. That's what I'm saying. The entire first season, although I think it's fantastic and it's a great show, the entire first season is exposition for season 2, episode 1. The last episode of season 1 is kind of the start of it.
I don't feel like I got to the gay stuff yet.
Yeah.
There's gay stuff?
There's gay stuff, yeah.
All right, good.
I mean, besides that, Emma Darcy, who is the lead, plays
the younger or the older?
The older.
Okay, I haven't got there yet.
They are non-binary.
Okay.
So they identify as non-binary, use they them pronouns. There are some characters who are gay. And then you'll see that. And I think we're going to get some more gay characters in season 2 because there's a couple who act pretty queer. But nobody officially has come out yet, but I'm pretty sure there's been mentions of some characters who are coming who are LGBTQ. So it's exciting. Also, I know you're not like this, but back when you all watched Game of Thrones, I didn't watch it. I watched Game of Thrones after all the seasons had happened and then got addicted to it. But back when you watched Game of Thrones, you used to mention how when Jake used to watch it with you and he would do he got really obsessed and do these deep dives.
Yeah.
I found myself doing that with House of Dragon and watching YouTube videos on deep dives of this family's entire historical past. George R.R. Martin has an entire royal history of this family. And I've spent the past 3 days watching YouTube videos of the lineage of this family back to the birth of Westeros. And it is fascinating. I want an entire 12-part miniseries on the history of this entire family.
No, I'm giving you House of Dragons, and if there's more to it, no. I'm sorry. It's going to be like Marvel. No, once you hit movie number 800, I'm not interested anymore. Wrap it up in 3 movies or don't do it.
It's called commitment, Richard.
Learn from Look Who's Talking. You get 3 movies. That's it. Did you ever watch all of that?
Wait. Of all the great trilogies of cinema, you went with Look Who's Talking?
I was being facetious. But do you remember, one of my favorite scenes from a movie?
Secondly,
comes from the second one.
I enjoy all 3 of those movies.
Okay, so it's Kirstie Alley and John Travolta, and when she's imagining what life with him is going to be like, and he's like, "Oh, let's go out," and she's like, "Oh, let's go on a date," and he's like, "Okay," and he takes her to a dumpster, and he jumps in, and he's like, "Come on, this stuff is free. This is great." that whole fantasy bit cracks me up.
I to this day, I think it's the 3rd one when John Travolta's character, Kirstie Alley, thinks that John Travolta's character is cheating on her, and she has one of those visions, fantasies where she's thinking about what he's actually doing. And when he's with the other woman, and she's like, "Your wife has no idea," and then they laugh and they go, "Dumb cow." To this day, I will randomly be walking and just throw my head back and I'll be like, "Dumb cow." Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Cracks me up.
That's movies. I was a kid in the 80s.
And 80s and 90s were amazing.
Right? Was that 80s? That was 80s. I was a kid. So
the first one was 88, 87 or 88.
When the baby was talking, I
Yeah.
was like, this is some good shit.
Third
you get a
one-
baby or an animal talking, and I'm like, I'm on board.
I know most people will disagree with this. Third one was my favorite because that's where Diane Keaton and Danny DeVito are the dogs, and the dogs talk.
Oh.
And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I'm going to go home and watch Look Who's Talking 3 tonight.
What happened in Diane Keaton's career that somebody said, I need you to be in the
money.
third movie, and you're the voice of a dog?
They had to...
From The Godfather to the dog.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Oscar winner. I've seen interviews with people who do like animated film, like celebrities who do voiceover work.
It's all
That's
about
not
the
like their
money, right?
It's all about they're like, I can go into my pajamas, do like 2 hours of work in the morning, collect my check, and go. And most of them are open about it. They're like, hey, it's a quick paycheck. I ain't got to go through hair and makeup at 4 a.m. I go in, I read my lines, they give me my money. Movie comes out, kids love it.
I mean, I don't know if you mean that literally, because now I'm just really intrigued by this. Is it like same day pay?
Well, I don't know. I've never been a celebrity, so
like,
I don't know
no,
how their
I mean,
pay goes. But I think that they're just saying that it's just like conveyor line.
I like to think that it is.
One booth,
I like to
another,
think that it's
another. They
like
head to New York,
something
another
happened
booth.
in Diane Keaton's life where she was strapped for cash. She's like, I need, you know, J.G. Rentworth wasn't there yet.
No.
She had.
Hey,
She needed cash now.
These
so she's like,
celebrities-
I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna do this dog and we're gonna get out.
These celebrities become accustomed to a certain way of living, and they're like, whatever I got to do to maintain that. You want me to be in the mouth of a dog? I'll be in the mouth of a dog.
Let's do it. I'd do it.
I'd do it. If
Anybody
you're
want
out-
to? Oh my God, we're on microphones right now.
Yeah.
Listen,
People get paid millions to do this.
If these videos that we're doing, if we put like cats and the cats were doing the talking, that we could millions. Listen, I know you're listening. Hollywood. Come on. We're right here.
Let's do it.
I'm talking to the Hollywood sign, of course. I know it's
Get
listening.
started.
Hire us. We can do voiceovers. And you have sound techs. You'll probably be able to hear us.
Yeah. All right. Good times. Get that started.
Good week. All right. So let's talk about the other stuff in our week. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do the fierce.
So Fierce is back. So there's some changes.
There sure are.
So here's what we're only going to talk about the first episode, and then like we're going to watch the rest
It's
of
an
it,
intro.
and we'll tell
we're
you
gonna
who
let
wins.
We're going to introduce you to the different characters.
You're going to hear about all these people, and you're going to be like, "Oh my God, I need to watch this show," and then you're going to come to us and listen.
We're going to R.R. Martin the shit out of this. We're going to give you backstories. We're going to give you family lineage. And then you come back for the other 9 seasons.
Oh my God, I need an origin story for So Fierce. I need it.
Back during the dawn of drag queens.
In a place called Canada.
Oh, what an exotic location. So fierce.
It's the same way that, was it Mormonism was born?
Oh yeah,
Somebody's like, oh, this is an intriguing place. This is where they actually are from.
in the great Salt Lake City.
You know, there's a thing about Salt Lake City for some reason keeps popping up on TV. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's an Olympic thing or something, but something about Salt Lake City. And every time I hear it, I cannot not hear Salt Lake City.
Oh yeah,
From Book of Mormon. I can't not hear it like that. And then I sing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dog cries and walks away.
Best musical ever.
So Fierce has a new host.
Yes. So for those who watched the first season,
Me too, girl.
Caitlin.
Caitlin just yawned as we just started talking about So Fierce. I was like, me too, girl.
So Fierce, for those who listened to us last year and listened
Was
to our
our
breakdown of the
favorite.
first season, It is back. It is a Canadian reality television series in which fashion designers, seamstresses, if you will, come in, and it's a competition to make drag outfits for the drag.
Yeah.
So the
Which
original,
is a great idea.
Yeah, the original host was Barbada de Barbados. That's not at all.
Barbada. That was it. Barbada.
Barbada de Barbados. I'm reading it off the thing.
Okay.
So I'm
Barbada.
just assuming that I said that right.
She was the one
with-
who so eloquently wore a heel on her head for the first episode last year.
Yeah. And
was
the
drag.
co-host is Jamie Lujan.
Jaime.
I'm sorry, Jaime Lujan. But their drag name is Lucinda Miu. And I'm going to say it like Miu. Yes, I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced.
See, now we're back to this
Lucinda,
thing. Do you see how funny that would have been if we were cat avatars?
Yeah. Meow.
Not to be confused with the later on.
So, that's coming. Spoiler alert.
You're going to want to listen to this whole thing.
The second season, they got rid of Barbada,
Yeah.
and they brought in Crystal.
I like to say that they you know, they didn't get rid of anybody. They just, made room for somebody new. Crystal, who is part of
RuPaul's Drag Race UK.
No.
Yeah.
Canada.
No,
UK?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
UK.
UK, okay.
And this season actually premiered back in April.
We were just too busy watching Nicholas Galazine have sex with the king to talk about So Fierce. So we're backtracking a bit.
Constructive criticism. If you want people to tune in to So Fierce, when it originally comes out, get Nicholas Galazine to have sex on your show. We'll watch it.
Just have him stand there with
Just stand
his
there.
naked butt, and then they have to make something to cover it. Just for a first episode.
Sorry, you get me all worked up.
Oh my, it's getting hotter in here.
So we started the first season or the second season, and
and so here's my thing. They obviously upped their budget. So let's just say that they upped their budget, and people are in person now, which is great. So the judges come in person, and like we used to tease about that they would have the guest judges on a laptop that was plugged into a TV, and they didn't close the laptop, so you see them on the laptop and on the TV. And so they must have. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the constructive criticism.
I gotta say, Canada, your not attention to detail is charming and adorable. How are you a real country?
Oh my God.
You're like
Listen.
you're like a Disney Channel version of a
Canada
country.
is fantastic and beautiful, and I just want to say
Gorgeous.
that. So if you
Beautiful.
Canada, if you want to yell at somebody, please email Jeremy at wwn@watermarkonline.com. Now, so right off the bat, you can tell they have up their budget because usually shows they're like, oh, we made it, we get a second season, and now there's acting.
Yes.
So the very opening scene, it's like we're acting. And so Crystal and it's Lucinda,
Yes.
are talking about what the theme of the episode's going to be, and they're all like, "It's about me, no, it's about me." And then there's all this acting going on, and then Lucinda's like, "I can't with you," and walks away. And it's just I was like, "Ooh, we're gonna get acting."
You're so talented.
Thank you. I hope that I get a
Fabulous.
splashy for my fringe performance. So that was just kind of fun. But then they announced
The way you said it, I don't think that it was.
It was a question. It's for you. Watch and tell me. Was it fun? Email me, wwn@watermarkonline.com, or hit it up on Instagram, because I'll probably look at the Instagram faster. I haven't looked at that email in a while. What if what if Matt Damon was like, guys, respond. I'm going to come and show you.
Show us what?
Well, remember, it was that show, and it was the dildo of him, and he was supposed to show up here and show us what was real and what wasn't.
Go on. Tell me
blocks
more.
these. Jeremy walks. Put that microphone gets turned off. Jeremy walks out of this room, and he does not remember a thing that we talk about. But it's okay because
Jeremy,
They're
I
not paid
think,
to.
has Alzheimer's. Let's not mock that. I will get evaluated. I can't remember shit anymore. It's crazy.
yeah, it happens. The older we get. So they introduce all the people. There's supposed to be a cast of 9, and they introduce.
There's 8.
8.
And then we get a hold the presses, guys.
It's the 9th.
We've got something special for you all. There's a 9th contestant. What? A 9th?
A 9th? What?
Who is it? And then
The door swings open.
fan favorite returns. Terrence.
Who?
I don't know.
Who?
Terrence? I don't know.
What week did he make it to last season? I don't even remember.
First off, I want to know what fans you polled, because if the fan favorite isn't Gidget Galore, you're lying.
Lying.
Secondly, fan favorite. I don't know where I was going with that.
I do. I'll tell you exactly where you were going with that. You were going with, did you mean fan favorite or the only person from the show
returns your
who was
call?
available? Because I'm pretty sure that it would have been Gidget, and I'm pretty sure they reached out to Gidget, and Gidget's like, you know what? I'm doing a show that I'm gonna make a lot of money doing in Provincetown during that weekend that you tape, so I can't do it. There's no way that is a true story.
And this is no disrespect to Terrence.
No,
This is just we know who Gidget is, and we know who the rest are, and there is no way that Gidget wasn't the fan favorite. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe you polled your mothers. I don't know.
maybe they asked themselves.
Maybe
no,
they did.
because if they asked themselves, it would have been the tall girl with the freaky costumes.
It's bugging here.
Oh,
Being attacked. Missy. Her name was Missy.
oh, that's right. Listen here, Missy.
Missy Morrow.
All right, so shall we go through the cast of
Yeah,
characters?
let's stop lingering on season 1. We're at season 2 now.
All right.
So, did you make nicknames for them?
I did. I can only read a few of them though.
Oh, all right. So I'll just run through the cast, and you just tell me your first thoughts on them. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So there's one thing that drove me nuts. Like, I get that if you've got 2 super talented people and they've got the same first name, that's great. They're going to have to pick a different name for the
Right.
show. But there's 2 Dustins in this season, which is going to confuse the fuck out of me. But first Dustin is really tall.
Yes. Giant. That is his name.
Second Dustin, not as tall, but loves patchwork stuff.
Patch Adams is what I've nicknamed them.
Nice. Tony.
I do not have a nickname for Tony.
You don't have a nickname for Tony yet? Okay.
I'll call Tony Blanche, and I'll tell you
Okay.
why in a second.
Terrence is back.
Yeah. Glasses.
Glasses.
He got
Justice.
those big old giant round glasses. You know what? Did you say Justin?
Oh, is it Justin?
It's Justin.
Oh, I wrote Justice.
I'm going to just tell you, I've watched 4 episodes of the show, and Justin's my favorite, so we will call him Justin.
Let me change that. I just want to say my apologies if I got any of the names wrong. That Canadian accent is hard to understand. Calypso.
Hey.
Calypso. Do you have a nickname for Calypso?
I do. No one's going to get it unless you live in St. Pete or Orlando, but he just reminds me of Morgan Lachey.
Oh, shout out to Morgan.
Shout out to Morgan. Photographer for adult style photography and drag photography in St. Pete.
When I'm scrolling through Facebook and I stop by some of the models that he's got, I'm like, oh my.
It's really the mannerisms. It's like it's like listening to Calypso speak.
He takes some pretty photos.
It's like having a conversation with Morgan. I think so.
Lindsay.
Lindsay's nickname is Bye.
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 Tara.
Oh yeah, George Santos. Or if you would like to take it further, look, I know that this is like mean roasty, but it's just like it's the Wish version of George Santos.
And we've got Sean is our final one.
Sean. Yeah. It's just Sean for me. Sean is like it strikes me as like the person that's out of place. You know, like his demeanor is not that of anyone else that's ever been on the show. I mean, he's almost just like a straight guy that likes to make clothes. And he's not. He's a drag queen. He's gay. But he's so like even keeled. Like he's not dramatic in any way. So it's interesting to me.
So they brought all them out, and the theme of this episode was to
It's
express,
gonna be me.
Yeah, it's me. It's to express who you
me.
are. It's all about the designers
That was my
expressing
Effie. Did that
themselves.
come out? The very last note that Effie sings in and I'm telling you.
I didn't get that. No.
No.
Yeah.
Let me work on it a little bit. You know what I saw? I watched all this Tony stuff over the weekend too. I just did a lot of watching of YouTube things, and they played this version of they played Jennifer Holliday singing "You're Gonna Love Me" for the Tonys.
Mm-hmm.
Seen it. Oh, so good. I shouldn't do that. What's going on in this video?
I love Jennifer Holliday's version, but nobody outdoes Jennifer Hudson for me. Her performance of it is the best.
The Tonys version of
I saw
Jennifer
the
Holliday.
I've seen it.
I think that's the best. But yes, Jennifer Hudson is amazing. Oscar award worthy and one. Anyway, so back to
So fierce.
So those are the people, those are the cast of characters. So then they do it was like basically make a design that expresses who you are.
Yeah.
Right? So then they do the typical thing where Lucinda, who is looking, not Lucinda, this is the Jaime version is the mentor and Lucinda is the judge. So Jaime's walking around. There's something kind of like impish about Jaime to me in this. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly, but it's just sort of like it's almost like Smeagol-y.
Oh my. Just keep going.
No, I don't want to.
No.
Like, listen.
Say more.
No, I know what it's like because it's like if when they listen to this, they're gonna be like, "Wow, that was rude," or "Oh, that hurts." And I know that like Wish George Santos isn't gonna like being called. I don't mean that. It's just like you remind me of what. That was gonna make it worse. So I'm not gonna say anything, but it's just like, I get George Santos vibes. But funny, I think that Tara Card. Did you get that name, Tara Card?
Tara.
That's his name, Tara Card. And
I only wrote down first name, so I don't have the witty last names that go
but
along
it's
with them.
So anyway, I don't mean to sound rude. It's just this is what you're judges on the show, and we're judgy on our podcast. So judge us. Go ahead.
Don't make excuses.
Rip me up.
They decided to be on TV. They opened themselves to the judgment that we will pass on them.
Yeah, I mean, when we decide to do a news podcast, we're just talking about news. So we won't talk about this stuff. So anyway,
You're not newsworthy.
no, that's not what I meant. My God, that is not what I meant. I meant we will talk about news. Did I clear that up for you? All right, so then they do the typical walk around mentoring thing, but then they change things up, right? So they do a photo shoot, but this time it's not just with cell phones. They have
professional
photographers, and then they do a runway show.
Yes, they have introduced the runway this season.
But they do, and then afterwards, instead of everybody being in the room, and then they pick the two that were really good and name a winner and then name a loser. They then pick like the middle ground and send them out of the room, and then they talk to everybody else about their designs, and then they creepily look at the designs, like up close, grabbing everything, and then they pick a winner and a loser out of that, right? Which is kind of interesting. I like the idea of the runway, but the way that they do the show now, it makes it almost impossible to make notes about what designer did what dress. So if I mess this up, I apologize to the designer.
I took notes.
All right, so we're going to tell you about the fashion for this.
Oh,
this
well, let's
time.
talk about so you've got your two hosts who are judging, but they
Oh.
brought two
Oh, they
guest
did.
hosts.
They did.
They brought in, I don't watch any Project Runway, but if I was going to watch Project Runway Canada probably wouldn't be that one. So I don't know who this is, but they run some season of Project Runway Canada.
Yeah. Everyone was very excited to see them.
Yeah, so
from the
apparently they're
show.
very well known in the Great White North. Also, they brought back, I don't remember his real name.
Because you just want to say
But
the
I
Hobbit.
He reminds me of a Hobbit, so we called him the Hobbit. But the
name is-
Hobbit came back.
His name is Ben. He was last year's winner.
Ben the Hobbit. last year's winner of So Fierce season 1.
And he's back. Just so you know, he's an always judge.
Oh, look
Yeah.
at that! They're RuPaul in this. I don't
Yeah.
watch Drag Race a whole lot, but I do know that they have RuPaul and then her panel of judges.
Yeah.
They'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, guess who's back? Ben is back.
Back again.
Tell your friends Anyway, so that's your judging panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So then they do the runway.
Runway. Yeah.
And so then what you have to do is you have to write down all the dresses, and then later on you have to go back and match the dress with the
Yes.
thing. So you tell me the dress, and then we'll talk about it.
So the first one, I wrote them in order that they came out. So
I
the
tried to
first
do that.
one was Tall Dustin's, his movie reels dress.
Why do I have next to Sean, I have Smother Teresa written?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's the one. What we'll get to that
Oh,
one.
that's his drag name.
Oh, that's
Smother
his
Teresa.
Okay.
And I liked it, so I said, "Oh, that's cool. All right, good." See, I like something on that.
So Tall Dustin.
I'll say this about the people real quick. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I don't hate these people. You know, like last time we were just like, rah, rah, rah. And although I may like be like crass and make a joke here or two, I actually like them all. Like, there's not anyone who stands out as like ew. And so good on them. They're good. All right, that's what. Now we can go.
Okay.
You said giant.
Tall
Justin.
Dustin. I don't know how tall he is, but he is very tall, very thin, very lanky. I call him Jack Skellington.
Do you know that when a person is talking and they're talking in front of a panel of people and they're using their hands to talk and that kind of stuff, this part of his like you know, like your hands just kind of wave above like where your chest would be and you're talking, that part of him was on the top corner of the screen because they couldn't get him and the judges, and he's so tall that the judges are in high top chairs. And it's still his hands were way above their heads.
Yeah, I don't know how tall he is, but that is one tall man.
I'm gonna guess he's like 9'14".
Yeah, he's easily 37 feet tall.
Yeah, easily.
So that is Dustin number 1. And what's funny
he is actually
just
who puts the star on top of the 30 Rock Christmas tree.
What's funny, and we'll come back to the other Dustin, but this cracked me up, is Dustin number 2 is not as tall, but his MO is that patchwork stuff,
Patch
which
Adams.
reminds me of Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. I was like, they got the couple in there.
Yeah.
They got the giant tall Jack Skellington and patchwork Sally over there, and both of them are called Dustin. That was done on purpose. Well done, Canada. Well done.
I have yet to see that, so I'll take your word for it.
Anyway, let's talk his movie reels dress.
Yeah, I just loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool because he is hired as a creature actor, so he plays like, you know, weird people. I'm wondering if he
Bet he plays Godzilla.
Do you think that he was in The Hills Have Eyes? Didn't they have like a really tall, scary person in that?
I don't recall.
I don't know. I have to look that up. But he plays these scary creature things. So he made this dress that looked sort of Hollywoody and gold, but also looked kind of creepy and creature.
Yeah, it almost had like a steampunk look to it. It's interesting because before I heard this described to me this way, and it made me think, a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, I was watching TikTok, and they were talking about fashion, and
he's 6'8".
he's 6'8". And they were talking about, like, when you see fashion shows and they've got, like, weird, crazy stuff like what he designed, I used to think, what is that? Nobody's going to wear that. And somebody made a TikTok and they said, when you see things like that, those fashion shows they're not designing those clothes to say, hey, this is what you can wear out on the street. It's to show how creative they can be.
Yeah.
And when I kind of had that mindset, when that came out, his dress is just so creative. It was actually my favorite of the whole group.
Yeah, and then they alter it to make it something that's like palatable for people to actually wear, right? I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I did love it. It was not my favorite, but I did like it.
The next one was Tony, which Tony is from the Philippines, so his was Philippine inspired. It had it was. I don't know my different greens, but it was a type of green.
Do you know what type of green it was?
Mm-mm.
You know what the whole thing was? I was watching a behind the scenes, and he actually went to the set of the Golden Girls and took the wallpaper in Blanche's bedroom
Which is where his
and
nickname
made
Blanche
it
comes from.
into. I just made that up.
Yeah.
But it is Blanche's bedroom wall. If
Yeah.
you ever have seen the Golden Girls, it is Blanche's bedroom wall.
Yeah, it's very
On a
earth
dress.
inspired. It's got like tree branches and stuff on it, and then it's got that old the traditional
Yeah.
Asian the hat they wear when they're working in the rice paddy stuff.
Yes.
That I don't know what that hat's called,
I don't either.
but it's very Asian inspired.
Yes.
Yes. The next one was Terrence, who had a green Southern style dress. It reminded me of Tiana from The Princess and the Frog.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, I got to say, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
It was very bright neon.
Very bright, and it's all one color. That I change it up a little bit. Everything was just that one color. It was a little off-putting.
It reminded me so much immediately of all the dresses that he made last season. 'Cause
Yeah.
I just got this like gingham plaids. He's as he said, I'm a Southern girl. I like
Yeah.
gingham and plaid.
Then Justin came out, which I just wrote down here. It looks like a giant chandelier.
Looked like a giant chandelier,
Yeah.
but to me, I thought it was beautiful. It was like simplistic, but very like. I think I'm like Ben and Justin. I like those kind of things, like rhinestoney jewels. It was very like nude effect, but it was just this like the hat looked like a chandelier with all those like crystals on it. It was gorgeous. I loved it. That was
It's
my
all right.
favorite.
Not my favorite, but it was all right. The next one was Calypso, and I wrote down here he got one of Dolores Umbridge's outfits. The whole thing was pink and looked like something she would wear. It looked like an old British woman's outfit to me.
Yeah, it looked okay. I mean, I was like, yeah, okay.
Oh, did you think my description meant I liked it?
I don't. You usually enjoy villains of shows.
I do. It's weird because I love villains. I hate Dolores Umbridge, but I think
Okay.
everybody does. Anyway, so it was very, very pink. Next was Lindsay. That's the spiky red coat. It was like the red outfit.
It looked like a punky, like if you took a red pantsuit that Hillary Clinton would wear and you made it a little punky,
Yeah.
then it was
It
that.
looked like everyday wear that like
Right.
a hipster girl would, or like a rock girl would wear. It didn't wow me at all.
No, and that is why her nickname is Bye.
The next one I wrote down, it looks like a mermaid dressed as the Statue of Liberty, and that's Tara.
Oh, okay. I skipped Tara. George Santos, lobster.
Lobster?
That was a lobster. It was like it had like those. I just called it a lobster because they were like.
Oh
like
yeah, it had like
weird-
those weird spiky things. Yeah, it looked like something from the Little Mermaid. Their version of the Statue of Liberty is what it
It
looked
definitely belonged under the sea.
like. Yeah. And then the final one was Sean, who I just wrote down
you,
oil
you
and
skipped you skipped Patch
Oh wait,
Adams.
I did. I skipped Dustin number 2. I wrote down lampshade, and not because it looked like a lampshade, but because it is a giant lampshade.
Yes, a lampshade hat and a lampshade dress.
Yes.
that had strings. If you pulled them, they lit up.
Yeah. Which is
I thought it was clever.
kitschy. It's cute.
It was clever. It looked like something like a comedy drag queen would wear, and I dig it. I also dig patchwork stuff, so I thought it was cool. Well done patchwork stuff. Now, if there's no rhyme or reason and the angles are weird, I don't like it. But this was like quilty patchwork, and I liked it.
And then the last one was just that weird plastic shimmery material.
Yeah.
Looks like oil and water mix.
Like hologrammy, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. So those were all the designs. They did their little walkouts. Had drag queens wearing their outfits. Had their little runway. Did you write down who the middle people were?
Well, I just know because right off the bat they sent Justin. Said Justin was safe, which I thought
Yep.
was weird because it was my favorite. But Justin was safe.
So Justin's middle ground. Calypso,
George-
I know, was middle ground.
George Santos was safe, and Calypso was safe.
So we were left with the 2 Dustins.
Yep.
Tony was safe, right? I don't remember Tony being in the bottom 3.
Tony was safe.
Okay. So okay, well, spoiler alert, the 2 Dustins end up being the top 2.
Yeah.
So your bottom 3 were Sean, Lindsay, and Terrence.
Yes.
Those are your bottom 3.
And then they announced that the winner
was tall Dustin.
Giant won.
Giant.
Yeah.
Very well done.
And well deserved.
Yeah.
Well deserved. He deserved to win. And then they get to the bottom three, and so what they do is they save one person out of the bottom three, and that was Terrence.
Terrence, he got to be saved. So then you've got your bottom two. You've got Lindsay and Sean.
And it gets very dramatic.
Yes. Because one of these people are going home.
So can I just say this, too, about the judging thing? It's like I've never seen a drag queen with as much chest hair as Crystal has, and it throws me off.
Oh, yeah.
But then also, when they sit on the stools, like it's almost like they don't realize they're wearing skirts and dresses.
There is some manspreading going on there.
There's some manspreading going on. All that whole, I mean, except for the two that aren't wearing the drag. The two non-drag queens are sitting with their legs crossed. And
the two drag queens have got their knees pointed in
like you could drive a boat show up
perpendicular to each other. Yeah, it's crazy.
So anyway,
I actually mentioned that.
All right, we're gonna tell you who's gonna stay.
When Crystal was walking around, I thought, because she had a blue dress on, I thought she had like a black netting mesh over top her breasts. And Rick informed me that is chest hair, Jeremy. And I was like, oh. Now there's that like the bearded drag queen kind of subgenre of drag, but I don't think that's what Crystal was going for. Crystal had a very beaten face, I think is how they say. It was beat to the gourds. And it looked very draggy, like drag queen. The outfit looked very drag queen. You just had a tussle of curly chest hair right there between your cleavage, and it threw me off. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it threw me off.
Yeah, no, it's more power to you, and I'm sure it's there for a reason. You know, it's like, hey, this is my look. This is what I do. Good for you.
And again,
I just hadn't seen it before, so I was just like, oh.
I'm not saying it's a Canadian thing, but I would not see that kind of shit in Ireland. Just saying. Hey to my fans in Ireland. Anyway, so Dustin Tallman won. We get down to Lindsay and Sean. They're the bottom two.
Shout out to Ireland. Thanks for listening.
Nobody went home. Nobody went home, Caitlin.
There are two jobs that these judges have. Two jobs. One, pick somebody to win. And pick someone to
go home. And they're like, no one's going home. And I'm like, didn't they do this in the first season too? Stupid.
Oh, they did it twice in the first season because they didn't want to send their little favorite home, so they said nobody goes home. And then,
so glad she didn't win.
Just it's a competition show.
Yeah.
It's not that you suck. It's just that you're not the best.
You just suck that week.
Yeah.
So anyway, nobody went home. And then first Sean comes in after everybody's in the back, and he's like, hey, guys. And they're like, oh, hey, Sean. And they're like, oh, Lindsay. And then like 2 seconds later, Lindsay comes in. She goes, I didn't go home either. And they're like, ha,
but it was odd
because
she fooled
us.
It was weird because she came in crying.
Yeah.
And it was like, I didn't go home. And I was like, but why are you crying? It's emotional.
Anyway, I can't wait to see the rest of this season. I'm excited.
I just wanted, everybody, they're talented. They can make clothes. I had to do it. And it's very difficult. So good on them. So, we're two talentless people sitting on microphone judging all of you.
Speak for yourself. I sewed many pillows in home ec in high school, and I got A's on every one of them.
And I'm sure you still use that guitar today. Did anybody in your class make a guitar pillow? Did you?
No. Mine were letters, and then I made a computer, and I made an apple with a worm coming out of it. Yeah. They were very cute.
I'm confused as to why there would be a need to make more than one pillow.
I took home ec for 3 years, Richard. I didn't want to play sports.
You're like, first year we made stuffed shells, and then we made lasagna. I made stuffed shells in home ec, and I made a guitar pillow, I think.
Nice. No, we in the high school I went to, we were given the option for electives, and it was like a group of electives in middle school, and you could either pick, it was some sort of athletic thingy, sports class or something. Shop.
It's called soccer.
Shop or home ec. So I took shop 1 year, and then I took home ec and shop the first year because I was allowed to take 2 electives. And I enjoyed wood shop. I made a bunch of stuff in wood, but I really enjoyed home ec. So I chose home ec every year. for middle school, all of my middle school years.
Do you know, of all the things I've learned in high school, the one thing that I use a lot is what I learned in like shop class, which was when we made a lamp. And that if you, like, say you don't have a ceiling fan, I was just talking about this today. If you don't have a ceiling fan, all you need to do is buy an extension cord and cut the end of it off, strip the wires, and connect them like you would connect in a ceiling fan thing.
Yeah.
Then just screw it into the wall and run the cord down and plug it in, and then you have a ceiling fan. So if you're in an apartment complex that doesn't have ceiling fan things, which I had to live in, you can make anything into something that plugs in.
Yeah. One year when I had shop, I made
car.
Everybody's Christmas gifts I made in shop class. I made a gumball machine. I made a sailboat. I made a bunch of shit. I really enjoyed wood shop.
See what I made? You take this block and then you make it into a reindeer. I did that.
Oh.
Do you know what? I love making things out of wood. And if I had a bandsaw, I'd probably make a lot more things than I do. But, like, I mean, I built those decks. I built that pergola. That pergola hammock and the pergola swing.
Yeah.
Made all
You know
that.
what home ec taught me? How to make pierogies. I make a damn good pierogi.
And I'm actually gonna build. So you know the patio that's in the backyard in St. Pete. I'm gonna put a wall up and build some sort of like partial roof to it, so we could put a TV under there, and I'll put some electricity on there. Yeah, it's good times.
Lovely. Fantastic. So we'll watch the rest of this season.
We'll watch it. We'll
see how
talk. We're gonna
goes.
talk about it in bulk. We're not gonna do it every week.
No.
We won't do
No,
that
no,
to
no,
you.
No.
You know why?
No,
It's because the people are likable. They're likable and their outfits are good. So there's really, what are we going to complain about?
They seem all right.
I mean, every year we just yelled about how Gidget should have won everything, or every week we did last time.
Yeah. So we'll do a cluster. I don't think we'll do the entire season, but maybe a cluster next week.
I already have
after
notes
that.
for the next 4 too. But you know, it's like, I mean, there's things that are going to be good. That the Giant, his shit's just going to get weird. Just so you prepare yourself. His shit gets weird. His next one's really good though.
I love weird giant shit.
But then it gets weird. But a lot of the stuff just looks like stuff people would wear. It looks like a fashion show and not for drag. Most of it's like that. But anyway, it's fun.
I dig it.
So then, did you know that before Red, White, and Royal Blue, that Nicholas Galitzine was an actor?
No, that wasn't his first role.
It was not his first role.
Shocking.
And we found this out while looking up that wonderful movie we covered last week, Ideal Home.
Yeah.
We discovered that he was in a movie. So guess what it was called? I mean, Nicholas Galitzine was in it. Handsome
Devil.
I kept looking up Beautiful Boy. And I was like, what was the name of that movie? Beautiful Boy? No.
I do want to give a shout out, though. I don't know if anybody who's tied to this listens, but the reason that we have the two movies that we talked about last week and this week, that I don't know about you, I had not heard of either one of these movies, is a shout out to Peacock, who put together a really great Pride collection for Pride Month. And that's how we found these two movies.
I see you, Peacock.
And we see you, Peacock. We
cock.
hear you, Peacock. We
cock.
feel you, Peacock.
Cock.
And that's how we found these two movies. So if you have Peacock, you've got a couple of days left in Pride Month if you're listening to this when it went up. So check out their Pride collection.
Yeah, because the other ones didn't really.
No, I mean, okay, I do want to say Max had a pretty good one, and Paramount Plus is okay. Netflix, Prime, Amazon Prime. I don't have Apple TV because I have too many of these things as is. And Hulu, you all dropped the ball this year. Do better. Be better.
It's because they're run by gays against groomers. Just kidding. Hey, you know what though? I want to give this shout out, right? Gays Against Groomers had like a light up bus that was driving around Pride Night. Huh? Yeah, they did. It you could see it from where we were having lunch, and it was like they have it. I'll tell you this: your logo is kind of cool, but your organization sucks. You know, to say Gays Against Groomers is to say that gay people are groomers, and that right off the bat,
regardless of what they're about, your initials are GAG.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need you to change one of those words,
and it's what you make me want to do.
Queers Against Groomers. So you're quags.
I gotta tell you how much I that phrase. I have so much disdain for the phrase "gays against groomers" because all it is
friends against groomers.
like oh fellators against groomers. I mean, just the arrogance.
Yeah.
Arrogance that you're the good gay. You're the good kind.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. You know what?
They're like the no disrespect, but a lot of disrespect. They're like the log cabin Republicans. It's like, oh, we're the understanding conservative gays. No, you're not. You're the butt kissers. That's what you are. Yeah. Butt kissers.
I'm gonna say like that gays against groomers is worse. If I talk about it for too long, I turn into is it Madeline Kahn from Clue?
Flames on the side of my face.
Or like Tom Hanks in
you
A League
are
of Their
not
Own.
a toy. Oh, wrong one.
From A League of Their Own when he's telling that girl that it's a cutoff man. And he's like,
I'm just gonna guess. You say actors. I'm just gonna
and
guess.
I just
the
get
line.
furious about it
Yeah.
because one time in my life, like what decisions have I made in my life that made this person think sending me an article about gays against groomers and like there's some good points in there. I was like, do not ever send me anything like this again. I don't want to be associated with this. I was so livid, and they were like, calm down, and I'm like, no, like you're just playing into the hands of something that is a lie to begin with. Queer people are not groomers. Like, that's just it. So the basis of your organization is a lie. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about.
In your entire rant, all I heard in my head was Darth Vader going, "You are a traitor." Heard his whole rant against Princess Leia.
So we talked. So we decided to watch Handsome Devil because we saw it on Peacock that it was there, and
I'll read the description real quick.
Yes.
Handsome Devil is a 2016 Irish coming-of-age comedy drama written and directed by John Butler. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Good job, John.
That's all you needed.
Way to go, John.
So
it stars. I'm gonna get this wrong. Fiona O'Shea, who is, I'm gonna guess Irish.
Well, they're all Irish in the movie.
Oh, is this why you? But his last name's O'Shea.
So yeah, I'm a guessing that he probably is a real Irish.
You're a guessing?
I'm a guessing. I'm a guessing he's a real Irishman, eh?
So it's like one of his. It seems like one of his first movies. I don't know. He's 18.
Yeah, when he filmed this, he was 18. This was 2016. He does not look super familiar, but like looking at his filmography, he was, a lot of his stuff is like British television. Like he was on Hang Ups and BBC Three and Hulu's miniseries Normal People.
He's in some other movies. Like there's a Tom Holland movie that came out recently. Well, within the last couple of years, he was in that. It's the one where Tom Holland.
Oh, Cherry.
Yeah.
You know why I haven't seen that? It's an Apple original. I don't have Apple Plus.
I have a login.
Oh.
Apple's
Well, hook
got
a
some,
brother up.
Apple's got some great shows.
Well, let me see it.
So anyway,
Show me that login.
so he's. This is about to get real creepy. I was like, yeah, you want that login, don't you?
Ooh, that's a nice login you got there.
Wait, and I'll just start rambling off the password, and I'm like, wait, slower.
@ symbol.
And then like it'll have that you know how Apple has those lines that go in a circle like this, and Jeremy will be like, oh, am I in yet? Am I in yet? It's just somebody call HR. All right, so
anyway, so
where were
he was.
who else is in this?
Who else is in this movie? Oh, my future husband. I know that I'm bordering on stalker at this point, so I'll probably never get to meet him. But Nicholas Galazine. Oh God, I love him so much. Everything he's in, he's just so charming.
You know, I was telling you this.
Even in this one, he's not super charming, but he's adorable. Anyway, you were telling me.
Well, I didn't. I was gonna tell you, and then you had perfect timing to interrupt me because I was thinking maybe that's too soon. I'll tell you later in the discussion.
What?
Well, I don't want to give away. I don't want to give it away. The character he plays.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So
because you're gonna talk about how it starts off they're all going to school.
Yeah,
which is I don't understand. I get that there's magnet schools for things. Also, at some point they said they were in college. Is it college?
I think it's different.
I
Over,
thought
like
it was
I don't
high
think
school. He's
I don't
16.
think college is college over there.
But didn't somebody say, like, later in the show when they're supposed to do that musical thing, they were like, oh,
Two
here are
college
two college
boys. Yeah.
boys.
But that's that college in
Oh, okay.
the United Kingdom is people who go to boarding school.
Okay, it just means there's dorm rooms, so it's
Yeah.
called a college.
University is when you go after
Oh,
college.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
I'm in university.
all right.
I'm working on my accent because he said not an American. I said, bet. I hear you, Nick.
So it starts off, right, as you would imagine, with all. I'm sorry, were we waiting on a reaction from me
No,
to that?
not at all.
Um,
That was for Nick. That wasn't for you.
I love that you guys, as I'm sure he's an avid listener. He probably is
If
like
you
listening, saying like, "God, why is this guy so obsessed? Stop talking
If you
about me."
check the email for Wine Not, there's like 9 cease and assist letters
Yeah.
in there.
No, there's one.
Please stop watching my movies.
There's one email and it says, "Please stop calling me Nick. My name is Nicholas."
My name is Nicholas.
So, yeah, so they're in boarding school, and like you would imagine,
Oh, it's not there.
that it starts with some parents taking their child to boarding school who doesn't want to go to boarding school, and
Yeah.
the parents don't seem to like their kids.
Right off the bat, this movie, it's not breaking new ground. There's a lot of very stereotypical things in this coming of age tale, but I still enjoyed it. But yeah, the dad is bringing, and his stepmom are bringing Ned to this boarding school.
Do you notice that in the genre of films that we talk about on this podcast, that there's a lot of coming of age stories?
It's a very popular genre for the gay story.
A very
Yeah.
popular.
They love their coming of age dramedies. It's like it starts off funny, but you learn something emotional by the end.
You do.
Yeah.
You take it with you.
So the school that they're bringing Ned to, they're bringing him back. He is not a fan of this school. This is this school is focused on rugby. Think colleges and football in America. That's how
Yeah,
this school
but
is with rugby.
Even colleges have classes and debate clubs and AV. I mean, like, this is a rugby school.
Yeah.
This is, if you don't do rugby, you die.
Yeah. You
It
are
is
rugby or you are other.
It's really weird. It's like, oh, okay, well, you're failing all your classes. That's okay. But you cheered us on at rugby. Okay, you graduate. Like, it's just, I mean, none of that happened in the movie. But it's just that they're so obsessed with rugby.
It is a fictional college. So no, it didn't actually happen.
Oh, wait a minute. This isn't a documentary?
No.
I'm out.
sorry. It was released on September 11th though.
Oh.
I don't know. That's it. Yeah. Oh, Caitlin just informed us that we hired her on September 11th.
I'm sorry for your loss.
So rugby obsessed. It's an all boys boarding school in Ireland. And Ned seems to be the only gay kid in school, and he's bullied for this. His number one bully is named Weasel, which is a perfect name for this.
I'm sure that there's no reasoning for that whatsoever. I'm sure this person's name wasn't Weasel because they're a dick.
Yeah. So Weasel is just a dick to him.
Like that stereotypical like gay hating, gay bashing,
Yeah.
rude. I mean, the guy made me want to punch something.
Yeah.
Good thing Jen was sitting on the other couch.
This is the part when they get into class where, and I don't know if this is a British thing, if this is an Irish thing, or if this is just a movie thing that they do at this school. But to taunt the gay kid, they all look at him and they go, "Meow, meow, meow."
And okay, so listen, when I have to
It's
watch
just a "meow" sound.
when I have to watch a movie that is that I think I'll have trouble hearing, and a lot of times like British and Irish movies and things, like if they've got real Cockneyed accents or something, I'm afraid I'm not going to hear it. So I watch this with subtitles.
Yeah.
Do you know what they call that?
No.
A roar.
I did not have subtitles on, so I wrote it down, and here's how I spelled it. RARRRRRE. Rar.
Yeah. And it's like, but it's like sometimes they would go. I said, and this is what they do to say someone's gay. I said, nothing is gayer than that in this movie.
So weird.
They just keep doing it.
First actor to pop up that I perked me up. is the headmaster. Do you know who that is?
No.
The Lannisters send their regards. That's the guy who stabbed Rob during the Red Wedding.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
You're supposed to like him in this, and it was so hard for me to like him.
Good for him.
But yeah, he apparently stabbed Rob Stark, and then became a headmaster at a boarding school.
Well, he seems to have changed his ways.
He has. He became a good person. So yeah, that's him. His real name is oh Christ, what was his real name?
I do not think Christ was his real name.
No. Michael McElhutton. Michael McElhutton.
Now you're just making up sounds.
Anyway, he plays Walter. He's the yeah, you got him up there. There you go. He is the headmaster, and he meets with Ned, and he's like, let's try to have a good year. And then he stabbed him, and he said, "Nicholas sends his regards." No, so I forget what it was.
This
So
is
he's
the
in
portion
class.
of the show where the wine kicks in.
So he's in class, and they make an announcement, and this is going to come back because they really focus on this. They are going to be selecting one student for an essay writing contest at the end of the year.
Oh, and everybody gets so excited because the prize is $5,000, and they're like, "Woo!" and they scream and yell, and then he goes, "Given to the school to give to the rugby team."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. My grant sends its regards, and then he stabbed all the students.
I don't know why I thought you said Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant sends his regards. Like, I don't know why. It's like, what? Why is he giving them the money?
So they're in an assembly. I'm assuming that's what you call it in England too, or in Ireland. We call that an assembly. And Nicholas makes his appearance. He shows up at the back of the assembly.
I want to say this about the assembly, though.
Yeah.
May I say this?
You may.
Did you realize what they call the students?
No. What do they?
What they refer to the students as? As units.
Units?
Yes.
Well, that seems
Because
inappropriate.
he goes, okay, calm down, units. The money goes to the school. I started cracking up. Units.
I wonder if they call them units in the girls' school too, or if it's just the boys' school. So we get our first look at Connor Masters, who is played by Nicholas Galazine. And one thing that in the beginning, when we meet Weasel, is Ned's looking at the board to see who he's boarded with, and he is the only one without a roommate. And he's like, "Oh, I got my own room." And Weasel's like, "I wonder why you got your own room. Maybe it's because you're a puff." And then they're like,
and he's
do
like,
that high school. Oh, we're gonna
he's
bully
like,
you.
nobody wants to get puffed in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say nobody.
So because Ned is the only
I've
one without a
seen the
roommate, and Connor, he's new to the school, so he gets roomed with Ned. So Ned he finds out that he's getting a roommate, and it's a rugby player, and he's like, they're all the same.
This is like what? Yeah, he walks into the room, he sees little Nick doing push-ups, and then he immediately goes, yeah, that's right. He sees
Connor doing his push-ups,
little Nick.
shirt
Connor's
off.
doing his push-ups. He goes over to the headmaster. I can't live with him. He does push-ups. No, he says because he's clearly a rugby player, and I don't have anything in common with rugby players. So then he goes back and discovers. Well, and then you sit there, and there's like a picture of two dudes making out on the wall.
Oh wait, you first talk about the wall he built, because he takes.
Well, yeah, but I don't think he built it then, because they're up there and there's a picture of the whole thing, and like everybody's in the room saying like, "Oh, Connor, you got to be a good rugby player, and you can't room with this guy.
That's right,
because he's a puff." And then they all look up at the thing, and he's like,
I
"That's
have
not
a
my
question.
poster." And then they rip the poster up, and then
Is puff a derogatory term? I mean, it's obviously a
I
but
don't
is it
know how
like,
it can be. There is a magic dragon named Puff.
But is it like puff, like puff's bad, like fag is bad? Or is it puff like gay? That's gay. Because those are both bad, but very different levels of bad.
Do you think Puff comes from like a cigarette, which they would call fags in England?
I don't know. That sounds
Let's go with that.
valid. We'll go with that until we're told different.
Fax no printer. So the Nicholas Connor goes to the headmaster and is like, I can't live with that guy because he's one of those people.
Yeah.
And then he's like, go back to your room, Connor. So then Connor goes back to his room, and now Ned has
built a wall between
that
the room.
they refer to as the Berlin Wall.
Yes. He's pulled
And
dressers
he's taken
and
all
stuff.
of his posters down of men making out.
Yeah.
Did you notice the other poster, though, on Ned's side?
No.
It's of a woman playing tennis.
Was it Billie Jean King?
But no. But the skirt is hiked all the way up, and it almost looks like she's bare-assed.
Interesting.
It was weird, and I noticed it throughout the movie, and I'm like, why is this a poster that he has there? So anyway, it just made me question, because I questioned Ned's sexuality the whole time.
Yeah. So we've got the wall up, and Ned's on one side, and Connor's on the other, and it's like, will these two ever come to accept each other? Spoiler alert, they will. So we cut to English class.
Do you know what really? I mean, I think Madonna was right. Because they come together because of music.
That's
and
true.
Music makes the people come together. Yeah.
It also makes the boys wagine on the rebel. I don't even know what that means or if that's even the line. That's what I hear.
I don't know if you're allowed to say that on the air.
Yeah. Anyway, so we go to English. Oh, what does it say up there? English slang for gay. Okay. Well, we knew that, but how severe of a slang word is it?
It's not.
Is it as bad as the C word?
Oh, it's not. Is it bad as the C? The C word's not. They even talk about that. The C word isn't as bad over there as it is.
No,
here.
that's what I'm saying.
It's not like that.
It's not like that. Okay.
Okay.
It's derogatory, but in a cutesy kind of way. Because
like in the 80s when they called us queer.
I love the movie Bridget Jones' Diary, and when she's describing her gay friend, and she's like, "Oh, he wrote a Christmas song, and he lives off the residuals from that," and then she goes, "He's a total puff," and I was like, "That sounds so cute. I want to be a total puff." I am a total puff. So we go to the English class, and we meet. There's a new English teacher, professor, this year. The other one died or retired or something. I don't know what happened to him. And it is Mr. Sherry, and he is played by Andrew Scott.
Yeah, and I gotta say right off the bat, this is my favorite role he's ever been in.
Yeah,
all the films
I loved
that we've
him in
covered,
this movie.
So
Yeah.
good.
So
he had
good.
this very much like Dead Poets Society kind of vibe going on.
Yeah. So obviously he too is giving the vibes. So somebody at him, and he throws them out. He said, "Get out of my class."
Oh, he does it. The kid's doing it to Ned.
Oh, I thought he was doing it to the
he's
teacher.
doing it to Ned, and then he immediately says, "Thank you for being the first person to get kicked out of the class," and he kicks him out.
Yes.
Not a fan of them.
No,
meow,
he doesn't
meow,
like the
meow.
meow.
He don't like the meow meow.
So he tells everybody that we're going to be reading Lord of the Flies, which I thought was very apropos for this group. And then he says you're all going to write an essay about a family member. So that's their assignment.
Yeah, and it's basically designed to tell me something about your life.
Yeah. Where did I? Oh, that he comes to the room later on, and Ned's in there. He's dropping books off for Connor.
Yes.
And Ned's playing the guitar, and he's like, "Do you play guitar?" And he goes, "I know one chord." And he's like, "Bring."
Bling,
And he's like, "Move your fingers here, here, here," and he strums it, and it goes, "Bling." And he's like, "Now you know two chords," and then he leaves out.
Bling bling and bloom.
And
bloom.
he's planting those seeds that he's gonna be the mentor for these guys.
He's not planting those seeds.
Oh, calm down.
That would be a different movie. I've seen those videos.
So they're laying it out that Mr. Sherry's going to be kind of their mentor for this movie. And then Connor goes in and he meets the rugby team, and we also meet the coach, who is such a dick.
I don't even understand how this person is allowed around children. I mean, seriously.
I mean, if you want to talk
You know what he's
groomers,
like?
he seems like a groomer.
Right? He's the football equivalent of the coach from what's that I Don't Want Your Laugh movie?
Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blue. He's like the coach in Varsity Blue. But he's like worse.
Yeah.
Because he just fucking punches people. He just he's like smacks the kids around and like
it's Ireland. You're allowed to slap the bastards
it's
around.
crazy.
You just smack them upside their head. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's loud.
That's pretty
It's
good.
loud. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, as far as cultural
trying
appropriation
it.
goes, yeah.
I'm Irish. It's not cultural appropriation. I'm Irish.
What percent?
Like 17%.
Oh, then,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah.
You,
I'm actually
you're
quite a bit-
allowed to do 4 minutes in a row of an Irish
Nice.
accent.
I am Irish, Scottish, English, German, and what was the other one? There's another white one in there. I'm like my dad's side. I'm just like all the whitest countries in Europe. Anyway, he did say, I love this part. Okay, so something that they mentioned earlier in the movie with the old English professor that Ned did is when he had to write essays, he would take lyrics from obscure bands that he knew that the professor was not going to know, and he would write those as his creative writings, and then it's like, A+, that's fantastic writing. So his assignment that he got from Mr. Sherry to write about a family member, Mr. Sherry goes, hey, Ned, this is really good. I want you to come up and read it in front of the class. And he's like, no. He's like, I insist. Come to the front of the class and read the essay. So as he starts to read the essay, Mr. Sherry pulls up a radio and hits play on the album. And Ned stops and Mr. Sherry goes, continue. So he makes him read along as the music's playing, and it's the lyrics. Which I thought was just, if I was a teacher, I'd do shit like that. That was so hilarious. So he tells Ned to sit down, and he has his essay, which looks like a little book. It's like bound and everything. And then he chucks it across the room, and he says, never use a borrowed voice, which I thought was just such a good line for the children to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be yourself. Talk in your own
Right.
voice.
And then he gets a little angry and screams at everybody, and he's like, if you're not going to be you, like, then who is?
Yeah.
But it
He
was
got
like
very-
he got very angry. And,
Yeah. There was obviously some
thought he was-
underlying stuff there.
I thought he was going to throw a Post-it.
Yeah. He was very
He was
upset.
very angry.
But I love that line. Never use a borrowed voice. So
You said, okay, I'm going to tell you this because
Yeah.
I had to text Jen because she watched it with me. You said, like, he puts lyrics from obscure song or obscure bands. We I don't think it's called Shazam anymore. What is it?
yeah, Shazam. Yeah.
Shazammed it. And, like, one of the songs that they play in this, because it's all obscure, was from a group called Trash Can Sinatras. I was like,
Fascinating.
what a great name of a band.
I'm gonna look that up. I want to hear more from this Trash Can Sinatra.
It was a good soundtrack, I thought.
Yeah. And these kind of movies, these coming of age teenage movies, always have a really good soundtrack. So check it out. You know, maybe it's good music. So that night, Connor and Ned, they're in their room. The Berlin Wall's up, and there's like a little crack in it, and Connor kind of pops his little head over it, and he's like, that song that you borrowed the lyrics from for your thing, I really like it. That's a good band. And he goes, you taking the piss out of me, and which is just a British thing to say.
I love it. I love the saying. Like,
Yeah.
you making fun of me? You taking a piss out of me?
Yeah. So Ned obviously is very hesitant about bonding with Connor because he thinks, you're just being a dick rugby player. So slowly, in actuality and metaphorically, they break the wall down.
They
Piece
do.
by piece. They take the wall down in their hearts
Piece by
and
piece.
in their room. And then it's open and they become friends. The end. No, I'm just kidding. There's more. There's more movie. So they get all friendly, and then Ned's like, now that we're friends, Connor, I want to take you someplace. And he's like, where? And he goes, it's my special place. Come with me. And then it's like this hidden closet somewhere where there's a record player. I don't know. It looked like it was under the bleachers
It
to
was-
me,
you know
but I
what
don't know where it was.
I think it's the same room that the Dead Poets Society kids used to hang out in.
Yeah, it's just some random. The walls are unfinished. It's just like shit everywhere, and there's records
there's
and a record
records.
player. And he's like, I like to come here and think. And it's like, how the hell did you find this place? Anyway, it's a cute little room. The boys get to know each other there. So Ned finds out that Connor plays guitar because he's got his little guitar there. And he's like, I know 2 chords now. Huh. And then Connor's like, oh. And then he takes it. He's like, "Bow, bow," and he's like, I know how to play guitar. And then they have this little montage.
I told you the soundtrack was good.
And they have this little montage where they're like, we're best friends now kind of thing. So Ned starts to fit in, and he's becoming more accepted by people. He gets Connor a birthday gift. He got him a harmonica, and then he pockets him I've seen this in other coming of age movies. I've never, knock on wood, thank God, never had this happen to me. But pocketing is when you've got a shirt with the pocket and they take it and they rip your pocket off.
It seems like a very boarding school thing to happen.
Yeah.
Because your uniform's going to have a pocket and then they rip it off.
And he's like, "Have you ever been pocketed?" And he's like, 4 times.
It's a lot like this. No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding. I have a. What if I did and then then at Janet Jackson, like I had a wardrobe malfunction in my.
And your nipple was pierced?
It used to be. It's not anymore.
This started because Connor sees that Ned doesn't have a pocket, and he's like, "What happened?" He goes, "They pocketed me." And he goes, "How often did that happen?" He goes, 4th time this month or something like that. And he goes, "You never been pocketed?" He goes, "No." So he goes, "Happy birthday," and he rips his pocket off. And Connor's like, "That Ned." It's just that kind of that montage where you see, oh, Ned and Connor are becoming friends. Then Connor goes off to a game, and one thing leads to another. His father's there. He doesn't like his father. They take them out drinking and stuff, the team. And he's like, "I'm going to catch the train home." But Connor does not catch the train home.
Because his father's there, and they don't get along. And his father's like says something really shitty to him, like, "Oh, you won that game, and you it felt like you were my son again. I loved you again."
Yeah, something happened.
As if he stopped loving him, but
Something.
because you're good at rugby, I love you again.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna get on the train and go home."
But he doesn't go home.
But he doesn't go home.
He goes to the gay bar, gay bar, gay bar. Connor is gay.
Dun, 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 dun,
Spoiler alert, Connor's a homosexual. So Connor goes into the bar, and he sees across the bar Mr. Sherry. Mr. Sherry is there with his fella, his
Isn't
man.
that weird? That'd be weird. I used to think it was weird when I run into my teachers in a grocery store. What if you ran into your teacher in a gay bar? That'd be weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we missed this when we were talking, at what point, but I wrote this down. Were they talking about Boy Scouts at one point? Because somebody was talking about Boy Scouts and how they do beaver whacking.
I don't remember.
There's a whole
this.
thing about Boy Scouts and badges and things that they did, and somehow somebody said Boy Scouts do beaver whacking, and it
Maybe I went to
made
the
me-
bathroom on that scene.
It made me laugh.
So I don't remember. I would have paused the movie, wouldn't I have? I don't remember this beaver whacking scene. Anyway, so
Or you blocked it out.
all right, blocked it out. So Connor's taking the train home. Mr. Sherry's on the train, and they don't say the word gay, even though they just saw each other in a gay bar. They have this unspoken, like, "Hey, we're not going to talk about this with other people. It's we didn't see anything. Nothing happened." So as they're walking back up to the campus, Coach sees them, and he's like, suspicious. So Connor the coach tells Connor, "You need to stop associating with those kind of people." And you're like, "God, you're a homophobe. I hate you so
Yeah.
much." Then the coach isn't happy with that, just doing that. So then he goes to the headmaster, and he's like, "Hey, this teacher is having inappropriate relations with the students, and I think he's a puff." And then he said, "I need you to calm down." And then he stabbed them, and he said, "The puffs are never gone."
I wish so bad that there was a camera on Caitlin during this podcast because she's so interested in what you're saying. And like when you said he went to the headmaster, she was like, "No." It cracks me up.
So the coach starts poking around trying to find out why Connor left his other school, and he recruits Weasel, who had
Good old Weasel comes back.
a second cousin who was at Connor's old school, finds out the reason that Connor got booted from his other school, or left his other school, is because he was getting fights all the time because people knew he was gay. Everybody who found out he was gay, he fought them. And so, yeah, punched him in their faces, which he did to Weasel. We skipped that part, but he punched Weasel, which was my favorite part of the movie. I hate Weasel. Not as much as I hate the coach, though.
It's only because Sally Fields told him to.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "I'm so mad," and then they said, "Here, hit Weasel."
I see what you did there.
Thank you,
Nice.
thank you.
So Weasel tells Connor, "You need to stop hanging out with the unsightly folk." So Mr. Sherry goes to talk to the coach to find out why Connor has decided he's not going to partake in. Oh, we skipped over the entire talent show. So
It's okay. I have got to go to the bathroom so bad. I'm like, we gotta get to the end of this.
things happen, yada yada yada.
It's all fine. They weren't friends anymore because
Connor and Ned part ways. They're not friends anymore. Then they have an assembly, and Ned's like, "Oh yeah, you're not gonna be my friend anymore." So he takes the megaphone and he says, "Connor's a homosexual."
like
Dude,
because everybody's saying like teasing him and like, "Oh, you're gay," and he goes, "I'll tell you who's gay.
Connor's gay. And so Connor goes missing. Nobody can
And
find
then he
him.
goes strutting down the thing like, "Look
Like-
what I just did," and then he's like, "Oh, that was probably really
Yeah, so Ned actually, his parents come and pick him up. He's getting booted from school. Connor's missing. Nobody knows what's going on. Mr. Sherry's like,
pure
"Oh,
hysteria."
I don't know how to fix the gays."
Cats and dogs living together.
So Ned finds Connor. I don't know if this was addressed earlier in the movie, but Ned finds Connor on a boat. Did he have a boat?
His father did.
Okay,
and
I
he's estranged from his father.
I
so that's
apparently
how we
had
knew
to
where go.
pee when that part came up. So
I can understand because it hurts when you
So
have to
he
pee
found
really
him
bad.
and he's like, "Hey, you need to play because you're not playing for them. You're playing for people like us." And he's like, "You're right." So he goes in, he wins the game, winning kick, and then he goes and shakes the coach's hand. He goes, "A puff just won your match." And he's like crying and he's like, "Oh, I'm a bad person." So then the coach boo-hoos. Connor kicks the winning field goal. Ned he won the essay. He got the national essay contest thing. Spoiler alert. And then he reads it and he's like, "I'm going to write about my family member that I'm going to talk about is my friend Connor." And this is the lesson I learned. Everyone learned the same lesson that year. This is what he says: not to speak in a borrowed voice. The gays saved the school. The end.
My favorite description of a movie ever. I appreciate how fast this ended.
Fantastic.
Got any grapes for it?
3 grapes. How many grapes are we rating on?
1 to 3.
Oh, 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it.
I loved it.
I'm gonna give it 2.
It started off, and then I fell in love with this. I thought it was
very,
charming,
it was
adorable.
It was very charming and adorable, and like by the end of it, I was like, okay, this is really good. What do you think, Rotten Tomatoes?
60% and 80%.
84.
Ooh.
79.
Oh, all right.
Good
All
for
right.
them.
Good for them.
Another good one.
Good little
Another
Irish
good
film.
one.
But until then, did you have anything you want to add?
Uh,
No? Okay. Well, until then, the cork is back in the bottle.